It's time for At the Hops, the program that brings crafty songwriters and craft brews together for one intoxicating experience. And now, fresh off the wagon is your host, songwriter and avid beer consumer, Mr. Chaz E.
Hey everybody, welcome back to At the Hops, the podcast that brings together beer and music for one intoxicating experience. This is Chaz E. from Nashville, Tennessee, and with me the man
Do you have all that written down?
No, it was off the top of my head.
I can't believe you can remember all that. Okay.
The man who put North Carolina on the map. You know him, you love him, Mr. Mike Mitchell.
Man, it is a new year for us.
I know, and we've been off a couple weeks.
That's been great.
Actually has been great tonight. I mean, I miss doing this. So when we didn't do it, and I found that I don't think I did anything constructive. Like if I'm not doing this, I guess if I don't have a weekly deadline, I guess, then I guess everything else in my life sort of fails too. Because I didn't do any songwriting or anything.
I always felt while I was doing this, I wasn't doing anything constructive.
So you were constructive during our little hiatus.
I was constructive during our vacation.
What did you do there, Mike?
Well, as you know, I had the flu.
Well, that's not constructive, is it?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I look at it as, oh, God, I had the flu. It was bad.
Oh, sorry, I'm adjusting your levels.
Plus,
and,
as we said earlier, it's been such a gray winter so far.
Yeah, it was kind of good though to take a couple weeks kind of off from everything. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really do much music playing the last few weeks. I really didn't. I just kind of, I focused on my day job a little. I have
That's
that,
good.
but I didn't do much either. It's kind of good to have that to start the year off. I'll tell you what I did focus on, Mike, which is part of our show for today.
What's that?
I joined a gym and started doing some different workouts.
Okay, you joined a gym.
Yeah, because I always have been a runner for years, but I know I'm really lacking in strength training and lacking in flexibility. So I said, let's join a gym and start doing some different workouts, and I've been really good. I just went there this morning, as a matter of fact.
So you're going to be a muscle man now?
No, not just to get some more strength and flexibility. I've done yoga a few times, and I don't like doing yoga, and I think I don't like it because I'm so terrible. I'm so
will you
stiff.
So if we disagree, you'll beat me up now?
No, I mean, not unless, I can hardly lift, that much. I can lift maybe a few ounces. That's it.
12 to 20 ounces?
Yeah, 12 to 20 ounces. A pint.
With both hands?
I'm up to 2 pints right now. But, I mean, I've always tried to stay in shape. You stay in shape, too. You do.
Try to.
You watch how you look. You don't have... I mean, here's the thing. We're both beer drinkers.
There you go.
And a lot of people have that old notion that if you're a beer drinker, you're going to have a beer belly. Neither of us do.
That's true.
And it made me start thinking about, can you live a fit lifestyle and still be a beer drinker? And obviously we can. We both do.
Yeah.
And this leads me to part of our show today. We have it leads me to two things. Number one, in 2015, we are always going to have music and beer on the show, always. But we're going to have some guests from different lines of work, whether they be writers. Because remember, we had a great show last year with Will and Chick Dotson, two writers that did a book.
The Tennessee Chicken.
Yeah, got a lot of good responses about that. And some people have asked us to have Stacey K. Black back on specifically about her film directing and not maybe, about her music as well. But she's a successful director.
Well, she was in town recently.
I know, and I didn't get a chance to hang out with her, unfortunately. But
well, now that we do remotes, we can catch her that way.
Catch her anytime. And she's been directing, oh gosh, the show, the name just escaped me. It's a crime show. It's a well-known show, and I can't believe I just forgot it. I see her talking about it all the time.
She directs?
She's directing now. I mean, she has worked her way up from hairstylist to musical contributor to actually directing. And I think, that's a great thing. You hear more success stories are people just getting their foot in the door any way they can and then working their way up whatever ladder there is, right?
Right. Well, that's, I kind of got my foot in the door when I got on at the Hops.
And from there, it's been nothing but just money and
I'll tell you what.
and gifts. But today's guest, we have a guest I interviewed while you were not feeling well. A writer, Dustin Driver. I had a little discussion with Dustin Driver, and he's done some articles for AskMen.com. And one of his articles, which he did, and it's actually been a few years ago, was all about fitness and beer. And how can you live?
But not necessarily in that order.
No, but just talking about...
Beer and fitness would be better.
Yeah, that's true. It's easier that way. So Dustin's going to talk with us. We'll get to that interview later. Real interesting stuff. And we'll talk about the article that he wrote. And I know it's been a few years back since he wrote it, but I think all the details within it are still hold true about how can you lead a fit life and still be a beer drinker. I mean, and does beer have any actual nutritional value? And I think in this day and age, we've talked to some craft brewers on this show. They're all about using good ingredients. They're not,
there's quite a bit of protein in beer, right?
I believe so. I believe, and one thing he mentioned was antioxidants. But we'll get to that interview on the next.
I mean, it's got to be good because I always feel so good when I drink beer.
I feel bad when I haven't had one for a long time.
I mean, your body knows what it likes.
Yeah, I agree totally. Your body knows what it likes. That's
mine does. So I try to be good to it.
Listen to your body. They all
there
say
you
that.
Go.
There's some people's bodies that I listen to a lot more than mine. But.
Well, seriously, some people they. I'm a big thing on moderation, just kind of cool it and don't. But some people, they want to eat and then they eat and then they eat and they eat and then they eat and then they rest and then they eat and some with other vices as well. So
I think when we get to that portion of Dustin's article, Dustin Driver, writer, I think that's the key to his whole article. Moderation.
Oh, really?
Is everything. It really is.
Well, good.
You can, but we'll get to that. We'll listen to the interview I had with him, talk about his article. And I think it's very timely because right now it's January still. People are trying to make those resolutions to be fit, but we don't want to lose their attention on the beer side. And because we're going to try a couple beers today on the show.
That's why I came.
And we're going to have some music. I was hoping maybe you and I could play some songs.
I could do that.
I would like to hear some Mike and Chaz playing again.
Yeah.
And folks, and we really are. We're going to have some real interesting guests I've got lined up already, people. We got a top 6 list tonight, too. Something we should probably discuss in the next couple of weeks, Mike. You brought it up just now. It's award season. The Oscars are on. Grammys, too. Maybe we should look into that some and talk about some of the Grammy award-winning Grammy nominated songs and albums. I looked at the Americana segment for this year's Grammys, and I only knew John Hyatt of all the nominations. Maybe we should look at that in one of the future shows.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
About that. You were just talking about the Oscars and American
Sniper. Yeah, those were just announced, and Clint Eastwood has another movie out. That guy, he must do a movie, go out and eat lunch, and then come back and start his next movie.
I think it's a cycle. I think he has.
I mean, he just finished the Four Seasons movie. Remember that?
Yeah, and that got some bad reviews, but I didn't see it. I didn't
see it either. But this one is The American Sniper.
Yeah, I saw with Bradley Cooper. I saw the trailer. I haven't gone to see it. I don't know if I'll go see it at the theater. I might wait for that to come out on DVD. What about you?
And let's see, Birdman with
that's getting a lot of
Michael Keaton. That's a biggie. I think most people predict it will be the one that swipes most of the awards this year. And then Selma.
Selma too, which I thought was about Selma Hayek. I was ready to go watch it, but
you mean it isn't?
No, unfortunately. No, I'm sure it's about important events in our history, of course.
Oh, of course.
Did you know what movie I saw this year that blew me away?
Hard Day's Night.
And we can go see it tonight. It's playing at midnight if you want to hang out till midnight.
That's way past my bedtime.
The Babadook.
The Babadook?
Have you heard of The Babadook?
No, I haven't.
It's a scary film.
Oh.
And I love a scary film.
As I know.
But when you get a scary film that's actually smart, you know what I mean? Like The Exorcist was a smart, scary film. You know, because most of your scary films are stupid, like Friday the 13th. Wow. This is an Australian movie, and it's very smart and very scary and suspense scary, like old school.
With a plot and everything?
Really well done plot. I mean, I thought so. So much that I wish I knew somebody else that saw it so I could talk to them about it, but even Audio won't see it. She's like, it's too scary.
Is it like Exorcist scary?
It's just, oh gosh, there's a director and I can't think of his name, but it's more classic scary, more just, you know, it really deals with, you know, that stuff that scared you as a kid, like the dark, just the dark room and the creak, and you imagine something maybe coming into your room or being under the bed, that kind of scary. And it's a little bit psychologically scary. It's not so bad that I don't think you'd have nightmares after watching it, but it's a good movie and it's very smartly done. And the fear factor is kind of a metaphor for
so it's an
true psychosis.
It's an indie film that was released and didn't make the big time.
From Australia. Actually, I think by way of word of mouth, it's getting a lot of accolades. And it's, I think, on the Rotten Tomatoes site, it's the highest rated film. If you ever look at Rotten Tomatoes, which is a...
Can't say that I have.
Rotten Tomatoes is a site that combines critics and user reviews to get one rating. So I think it's like a 97%, which means 97% of critics and people that saw it liked it, which is really good. And I think it's one of the highest up there. It's directed by, I think, Susan Kent might be her name, Australian woman. And I think there's something to that, too, when a woman directs a horror film, because it becomes a whole different... The material is very different from... It's not some guy with a knife chasing a woman whose clothes are falling off, which most horror films tend to be, right? I mean, you know, you've seen them.
That's why we like them.
That's why we like them. This one's, I'll have to look up her name, but real good film, The Babadook. You can go playing at midnight tonight at the Belcourt. Let's go.
So Babadook, is that a person?
It's a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, we should play the preview. Audio won't let me mention the name anymore because I kept trying to get her to go to the theater with me and see it, and she wouldn't. And now she says, that's my wife, folks, if you haven't listened to the show.
How does she know it's so scary if she's not seen it?
Well, you can actually, I watched it. It's available for download. It's playing in some select cinemas, but you can watch it online. And I watched it online in bed at night. I actually watched it on my iPad, and I had the headphones on. And she kind of was peeking over what was going on. And she said, just from the glances she got, she was spooked.
Wow. So
she didn't want anything to do with going to the theater. But I still would like to see it on the screen. So I'm thinking maybe tonight, let's run out at midnight and go see The Babadook. They got beer there.
That's worth a drive.
That is worth a drive. We'll take an Uber. Come on, we'll take Uber there. Watch The Babadook. It's a good... But I love it, honestly, when there's a scary film that's smart, that's not stupid.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's been some scary films that were smart.
Rosemary's
like
Baby.
The Shining.
The Shining is brilliant. Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Scary like that.
Yeah.
It's just you're a bit you're anxious. You're not sure what's around the corner, what's going on. That kind of scary. Yeah,
right.
Really plays with your that movie. And there's a great. Oh, we better not get into it. We better get to the beer before people tune us out. But there's a great video on YouTube about all the conspiracy theories about The Shining, because apparently some people think that Stanley Kubrick made that film and was saying in that film that he was the guy who made the film NASA used for the moon landing, and that never happened, and that The Shining had parts in it that gave you clues to that. Have you ever heard that theory, that conspiracy theory that you've heard, of course, that this theory that there was no NASA moon landing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a movie that came out in, I guess, the early 70s called Marooned.
Oh, yeah.
where the guys did fake a moon landing.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. Gene Hackman was in that movie.
I didn't know that. So it led to that.
Yeah.
Well,
and the plot of that movie was these guys, they didn't know they weren't going to the moon. They thought they were really going. And then, of course, it was faked, and they had to be told, hey, guys, we got a secret, and you got to keep it for us. You're not really going to the moon. And,
were they pissed?
Yeah, they were pissed, and they were going to tell the world that the whole thing was fake. And so the United States government goes after them to kill them.
Wait, that's not Capricorn 1, is it?
Maybe it is.
That's a similar...
Maybe it is Capricorn 1 because I've seen it too. But there was a movie called Maroons where they...
Keep talking. I'll look it up for us.
Where they faked the... and you may be right. I may be talking about Capricorn 1. I may be combining these two movies.
Which I often... And sometimes they're even better. That's the good thing about getting older. Your memory starts combining good memories into one or half good.
All my memories are good.
Like suddenly a half good film gets combined with another half good film, becomes one great film. Let's see, Marooned, a movie, and you might be right though. Well, some people believe that Stanley Kubrick helped him engineer the fake moon landing, and that in the film The Shining, there's all these little clues in that film, which is Kubrick
allegedly,
saying,
right?
Yeah, no one knows.
I mean, the director doesn't admit that those clues are in there, right?
Right, and he's passed away since then. I think you're right. Marooned, a 1969 film, directed by John Sturges with Gregory Peck, Richard Crenna, David Jansen, and Gene Hackman. So there it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's the one that because you're right, Capricorn 1, I saw that one too, but
I
know
they were going to go to
was-
Mars.
I know there was one that where they faked it, and they thought the
Yeah.
astronauts would go along with it, but they didn't.
And they said,
So we're going to have to do away with the astronauts. And so the plan was we'll just pretend like they blew up in space.
I just thought of Elaine and Seinfeld going, fake, 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 fake. That's why I'm smiling. The moon landing, the ignition, the takeoff, fake. Well, I'll tell you what's not fake. The beer we got today. We got 2 beers to try today. One from Wiseacre Brewing in Memphis, Tennessee. The Ananda IPA, which I mistakenly ordered it, and I saw it on the board, and I ordered the Anaconda IPA, but it's Ananda. And then we've got the Mocha Death from Iron House Brewing. So let's get to one of those beers. You want to play a song real quick, or should we hear a word from our sponsor?
I can play a song.
Let's play a Mike Mitchell song, and then let's have the Ananda IPA, and then let's get to our interview with Mr. Dustin Driver, all about beer and fitness.
We've looked after each other through warm and cold days. We've stayed together. After all we've been through, we have each other to turn to. That's the thing with me and Anna. I got the girl, I was Johnny on the spot. The wealthiest guy in the world doesn't have what we got. After all we've been through, we have each other to turn to. That's the thing with me and Anna. It's easy to trust the heart
with a woman like that. No matter where we are or when we're coming back to that little house of ours, standing in the meadow, pots of summer flowers sitting in the window. After all we've been through, we have each other to turn to. That's the thing with me and Anna. That's the thing with me and Anna.
And we're back. Mike just played us that tune. We really did cut there and do it. Sometimes we do things out of order, but that was, I think we'll try to do some more things in order. Keep us honest.
I like to keep my life in order.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That's me and Anna.
I'm moving the microphone. I'll probably get a disciplinary action.
I'll edit that out. And I'm going to adjust your volume on too because we had you on the singing level. So apologies to anybody if Mike just blasted your ears out there. It's
Sorry, folks.
Fault. Yeah, we got to go back from song. That's often why we don't do it out of order because you got to change the levels for the song. It's got to come back.
That's true.
And do.
Maybe you had it right the first time.
No, I think I'd like to do. I think I'm going to organize it. See, what we need is one segment of the studio just set up for the songs,
and we could get up and walk over,
and do the song.
Yeah. And we talk on the way over. Hey, how you doing today? I'm doing good.
I've got that drawn up. I think we're going to set that up. Maybe the next show I'll have that set up. I've got that all. Yeah.
This is first class.
Out. We're getting there, man. We're getting
there.
You know,
my son asked me today how we worked, and I told him I didn't do the damn thing. You did everything.
Not everything. You do a lot. You're also.
Well, I do. I come in and sit down.
You come. You're, also, I mean, you contribute 90% of the songs between the two of us because I always say you're the talent. You're the songwriting man.
Well, I got to contribute something.
I get a song in there once in a while, but I always think of myself as sort of a. I'm like a songwriting fan who gets to hang out with the songwriters.
I like your new song. I like the song about the baby coming. What did you decide on the name of that song?
I'm still playing with your mic here. I just called it. I didn't really name it. New for New Year's, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was pretty good, and
yeah, he'll be proud of that one of these days.
Hope so. I got some other stuff coming up. Maybe I'm actually.
You haven't made that announcement, have you? I mean, everybody knows a baby is on the way, but but the fact that it's a boy, no one knows that.
I haven't said it's a boy. Yeah, we found that out.
Hey, I broke it. Breaking news.
Breaking news on At the Hops.
I feel like Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah, the Wolfman. Do you watch Wolf Blitzer?
Sometimes. You know, I just go through. I like to keep up with what's going on, so I'll turn.
Yeah.
The reason I try to watch Wolf, but he pisses me off sometimes. They get hung up on something. They'll just talk about that one thing for hours and hours. But, you know, he's kind of in the middle between MSNBC and Fox.
Okay, he's not too right or left.
Right.
The Wolf is in the middle.
Yeah, as middle as you're going to find. He's probably a little left of middle. But anyway, our listeners probably don't care about Wolf Blitzer.
No, they're listening. The tasting song's on, and the first step came on. Should we put it back on?
What's that?
The tasting song.
Put it back on.
Hold on a second. Let me do that. Actually, I think I can do that. Let me see. Hold on. It's kind of stuck on the. Let me see if I have the. We'll just start it over again. Here we go. There we go. How do you like that?
I love it.
Even put a little sound effect in there. And I keep messing with your mic. Okay, Ananda IPA. I keep messing with your mic level is what I said. Mike, on the mic. How do you sound now? There, I think I'm getting you there.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so anyways, Ananda IPA comes to us from Wiseacre Brewing in Memphis, Tennessee. We got a whole growler of it to drink as we talk about beer and fitness in this segment. But first, we're going to get to know our favorite brew. Let's open this sucker up, because the growlers can be hard to open sometimes. And just in case you wanted to know, Ananda is the ancient Sanskrit word for bliss. And this bliss dry-hopped juicy beer is supposed to be bliss.
Ah, with a name like Ananda.
Yeah, sounds like a stripper name. So we're looking good. We're going to take a look at this beer first. Mike, go ahead and pour yours.
Okay.
I'll hand you the big growler. And
I feel like I'm getting ready to pour some moonshine.
I know, in that big old jug. And things we're going to be looking at is what kind of color is it? Is it clear? What's the head look like? I mean, right now it's kind of hard to pour because the growler's so heavy.
You got to be... No wonder you're working out. You want to keep drinking.
Exactly. And I'm tired of just pints. I want a whole growler. This one is kind of it's kind of got the color of a light apple cider.
Yes.
And we actually have a color chart we can look at, and it's got a pretty good, I'm going to say it's a sudsy head on top, very bubbly.
Yeah.
No, not too bubbly. And our second step just came up, so let's do it, and that is to smell the beer.
Okay,
so Mike
here we
is ahead
go.
of us.
I'm going to sniff. You can't scratch it.
No.
You can't scratch it. You can sniff it.
That's what she said.
That's a pretty good sniff. And that's what she said, too.
Hoppy smell to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that hoppy smell.
Yeah, that smells like real beer. You know, we get some stuff in here sometimes. I'm not sure if I should drink it or put it on my hair.
Yeah, that's true. It is like a conditioner. It's like got fruit or something in it. Good hoppy.
But we always drink it.
Oh, well, we're always drinking.
Yeah.
There's our last step. Let's have a taste. Cheers.
Okay,
Welcome
cheers
to
you, my good
2015.
friend. 215.
Mike Mitchell, my brother.
2015.
Yes. Yeah. You gotta let that sit in your mouth, get the mouthfeel. That's a beautiful IPA taste.
That's good. I really like that.
That's a real good. If you're a fan of hops, and we're gonna be talking about hops in our fitness segment a little bit with Dustin Driver.
Dustin Driver. That's a cool name.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
I think Driver. Yeah, Dustin Driver. That hops.
I wonder if he knows Baby Driver.
Who's Baby Driver?
That's a Paul Simon song.
Oh, and there's Minnie Driver, the actress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's English. It says enjoy 24 hours of
and Drunk Driver
after opening. Drunk Driver. Yeah, I know him.
Everybody knows
we don't
drunk
endorse
driver.
drunk driving at all.
No, we don't.
You and I.
What's the alcohol content on
That's
this?
a good question.
Speaking of drunk driving,
this is 6.1, which is
okay. That's not too bad.
No, but I think it puts it in a higher gravity zone. It's an American IPA. Why they call them? You know, Mike, we should talk more about specifics of beer. People probably this year in 2015 want to become craft beer experts, right?
I think they just want to keep drinking.
Well, you don't want to be able to talk the fun beer talk, like why they call it an IPA.
Most
We've
people that
talked about
drink beer
before.
don't know how to talk.
That's well, they can at least ask for another beer. Actually, you don't have. You just have to put
Yeah,
one
you just,
more.
Hey, I'll have another. Yeah.
Or you just put one finger.
You know, you look at the bartender and you just, you know, you don't really say a lot when you
You
drink.
can get through a lot of life with just using one finger. I mean, you could say
and believe me,
one
I
more
have. Yeah.
or the
Yeah. You've got a finger for any use.
for everything. There must be a finger for everything.
No, there is.
An IPA. You remember what the IPA is all about? We've talked about it a bunch of
Tell
times.
me.
Oh, you remember? I just want to see if you remember. No.
No, I don't know anything about beer. I just drink it.
Oh, the India Pale Ale.
Oh yeah, okay.
Named because. Remember the whole
No,
story? Named
I don't
because
remember.
because
when what was that? That was a movie. What was the movie where the guy he was trying to get him to say something. He go because oh yeah, it was a Seinfeld.
It was the court.
Yeah,
the course because you wanted to be a banker.
Yeah. because so you're trying to tell, what do you mean in my own words? Which words would I use?
Yo Ma. That's a classic.
Okay.
That is
sorry to get sidewind.
That's okay. So because when British ships would bring ales to India when they had colonized India.
Did I ever know that?
I don't know, but
I don't think I was ever that smart.
Said it on this show, I think. They would add a lot of extra hops to keep it preserved for a long period of time, which is why IPAs are traditionally beers with more hops. This one is got also, it's dry hopped too, which means they add hops after fermentation, like steeping tea. They say it doesn't have to do with, it won't add to the bitterness, but the flavor, you're going to get more hop flavor, more hop aroma. And so hops are added directly to finished beer instead of being boiled. That's what dry hopping is. So they add it after, like steeping a tea, after the brewing process.
Well, I hope I remember that better than the IPA.
That's okay. You just learned too, the IPA and dry hopping, which sounds like dry humping.
Sort of like a review. You know, you go through all 6 weeks in school, and at the end before your test, they have a review. And so we were reviewing the IPA.
A couple of things about our show is I've had comments. As I said, we took a little break, hiatus, and a couple of things people said.
Did they notice?
Well, but they did. Not a lot, but they noticed. They asked if I was still alive.
You noticed. I noticed.
But they said some of the things they like about the show, they want more of, is, like I said, more interesting guests. Like we had Chicken Will.
Okay.
We love the music, the original music, but let's keep up with some of the... It's nice sometimes to have a different sort of guest, like a writer or a filmmaker.
We probably run out of original music between us. Anyway.
Between us. But I mean, even Nashville, we can always find original music.
There you go.
But also the beer side. I mean, I want to get a little more in depth this year on the beer side. And there's I did tell you. The brewery just opened up right down the street.
What's in that?
Tailgate Brewery. Tailgate Brewery. So I'm hoping
original.
I'd like to get an actual beer master on our show every week to help talk about the beer.
Wow, that's pretty ambitious.
We'll look into that.
Every week? That's 52 beer masters you got to come up with.
Well, I mean, maybe somebody would like to take the job of being the beer expert on our show. I'm not a beer expert. When we started this, it was like, let's learn about beer as two guys that don't know a lot about it. But now we've obviously had the IPA lesson more than once.
There we go.
Now we're ready for the next step.
Yeah, a beer expert. Yeah.
We'll find one. We'll get them on the show. So this one, the Ananda IPA, once again from Wiseacre. Now, as they say, the citrus hop notes explode into pure nirvana. But you do really get, if you love hops and you love an IPA, and I want to say that kind of grapefruit texture IPA, because there's some that still kind of, it's sort of like I want to say has a real malt hop balance. This one's just pretty much a hop explosion to me. I love it.
This is one of the best beers that we've had in a long time.
It's really good.
I really like it. I'm not just saying that.
And I
am saying it, but I'm not just saying it.
I love a really hoppy beer like this. This is when I get an IPA, this is what I want. I'm sort of disappointed when it's got a real malty consistency to it in an IPA. Yeah. I want what they said, an explosion of hops into pure nirvana.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Nirvana. Hey, so let's do this. Fitness is important to me. Fitness is important to Mike. Fitness is important to a gentleman that I met recently by way of the great world of the internet. I found his article that he wrote for AskMen.com all about beer and fitness. He's a writer, a photographer, a videographer. Well, we'll mention everything he does.
Does he write letters?
He must.
Novels? No, what does he write?
No, articles like for a lot of them are about automotive things like cars and classic cars, but he writes a lot for AskMen.com. He did an article on beer and fitness. I did a little interview with him on the phone. Let's go to that, and then we can talk a little bit more in depth about his article, which had some real good advice in it, and we'll post it to our Facebook page too about beer and fitness. So let's go talk to Mr. Dustin.
We'll have a lot of people interested in beer and fitness.
I like it, yeah. Beer and fitness. Here's my discussion with Mr. Dustin Driver. So a lot of people out there like to say that beer and fitness cannot live a happy life together, but my guest with me right now would disagree. He's written a fantastic article that you can look at AskMen.com entitled Beer and Fitness. Writer, photographer, videographer. He's a creative superhero, right? This is Dustin Driver with me. Welcome, Dustin, to At the Hops.
Thank you very much. I'm really thrilled to be here, actually, and I'm glad that you found the article and stumbled upon it.
And you said it's 5 years old, and yet it's still a current topic because I'm searching for it, so it must be.
Yeah, I think it's even more a current topic now than when I wrote it. I think that craft beer's really taken off in the last
Yeah.
5, 6 years, as you know. So, yeah, it's a huge topic. I live in Bend, Oregon right now, which you might know is sort of a holy land of craft beer. So, and also fitness. So it really, I deal with this on a daily basis, I guess you could say.
It hits home. And you must
Yeah.
be a fitness person yourself. I'm into fitness, and a lot of people always say to me, Chaz, how can you be a beer drinker and a fit person at the same time? They believe in that stereotypical beer belly physique that goes with, with drinking beer. And I was just wondering if that was the first inspiration to make you write this, just to get rid of that belief.
Well, yeah, there's that. It's actually a funny story. At the time I wrote the piece, I was working with a personal trainer who was an ex weightlifter, actually, competition weightlifter, and he was getting on a bit. And one day we were going through the routine, and he was kind of complaining about that he needs to cut back on the beer, and he's been drinking too much lately, and it's been showing. And we got to talking and said, well, there's got to be some health benefits to beer, right? I mean, it's not all just bad for you. And that's where the topic for the article came from, was actually kind of justifying beer drinking and fitness at the same time.
You became the trainer for the trainer then in this topic.
Yeah, in some ways. So. Yeah, and it was really interesting what I found out when I started diving into it and doing a little bit more research.
Well, I mean, the big overview of everything is choices, right? And including choices of beer type. Just to start off with, I know you went into two of my favorite styles of beer. I'm a big fan of the dark beers, of stouts and porters. And I know you talk in the article how they can be rich in antioxidants, which are very important to repair muscles after a workout.
Yeah, yeah, they can be, and with a caveat, right? There's been some recent studies that say like taking a ton of antioxidant pills or supplements may not really do much for you, but a well-balanced diet that has lots of nutrients and antioxidants in it can definitely help you recover. And the gist of what I found from the research is that there's no reason to think that a nice, good, high quality craft beer can't be part of a well-balanced diet. I mean, obviously, it all comes down to moderation, right? If you work out all day and then come home and drink a 6-pack of craft beer, then
yeah,
yeah, there's not much hope for you at that point, because just the amount of calories in beer is going to be counterproductive to what you're trying to do. But yeah.
That's something you spell out too, as you say.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're drinking 3 beers. That's equivalent to almost a Big Mac, maybe even a little more with some of the higher gravity beers. So yeah, it's that choice you make to be careful about it and to, like you said, but knowing that when's the right time to have one and when's the limit. It's exactly it.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, I got into the antioxidant contents of a nice dark beer, even something like Guinness, but especially in more craft brews. There are a lot of nutrients in dark, thicker, richer beers, and there's some interesting studies I found too that some of the because beer typically has such a high water content to it as well,
right,
that say it can have a hydrating effect. So, having a beer after a mountain bike ride or something is actually, it's not bad. It's gonna actually hydrate you a little bit. It's gonna give you calories, obviously, to kind of help, with that recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not bad. I mean, if you're training for a marathon, you
Yeah.
probably don't want to drink a ton of beers. But if you're just an average guy or girl who wants to, enjoy beer, sure, why not?
And I really like how you put it. Your best choice right after the workout is is water and fruit. But then a couple hours later, why not? Why not tip back a pint of some good quality beer? And as you said, especially with the craft beer boom, and you're seeing it so much where you are, these brewers are really into using the most natural ingredients they can, local produce. they're really putting together. I'm not saying they're making a smoothie, but they're putting together a better drink than you might get from like a can of Bud Light, obviously.
Yeah, I think so. And there have been studies that have shown health benefits to hops, say, which is a big ingredient. And a lot of craft brews use fresh hops grown, Pacific Northwest where I am. You get tons and tons of IPAs because hops grow like weeds in the Pacific Northwest, and it's there can be a lot of health benefits to hops as well. So yeah, it's not all bad.
I believe that I can't pronounce it, and I was excited when I read that in your article too, because I'm a huge hoppy beer lover. Any IPA, I will take in a heartbeat. IPAs and dark beers, the two that you highlight, are my favorites. But is it polyphenols? I believe, I'm not sure if that's the way it's pronounced. Are in the hoppy beers, right? The
polyphenols, which are a compound that's found in some plants and in hops, especially. So it's one of those nutrients, those micronutrients that can have a benefit. It's in there. It's definitely and comes from hops.
I know in your article said there's been studies that say it can lower cholesterol and even fight cancer and kill viruses. I don't think it means if you're sick to drink a bunch of IPAs, but like you said, it's got hops definitely have some nutritional value to them.
Yeah, this is what I found just from being a journalist and researching online. So, I can't. We always got to remember, my scientific credentials involve taking lots of biology classes at a state school. So, take everything I say with a grain of salt. But there's lots of research out there that point to positive effects of having alcohol and beer, and everybody knows the the research that points to reduced incidence of heart disease and that just from drinking a glass of wine a day, and recent studies have found that beer can have the same effects. So it's out there.
I think with the rise of the craft brew industry, beer is almost becoming comparable to wine. With the way it's being master crafted these days. I'm sure you're seeing that there on the West Coast too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm here in Bend, Oregon now, and we have maybe more craft breweries per capita than almost anywhere else on the planet, besides maybe Boulder, a couple of places in Colorado. But yeah, I mean, people are really, really into beer now, and it's not just a lot of the mass-produced lagers, that were so popular. And it's a funny subject because here in Bend there's a popular brewery named Tin Barrel. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had it there in Nashville, but it's really high-quality, delicious microbrew, and it was recently purchased by Anheuser-Busch, of all people. So that just kind of shows the level, I think, of interest in craft beer.
Yeah. Because
Anheuser-Busch is huge. It's gigantic, and they know people want craft beer, and so what they're doing is they're buying up microbrews. They bought a microbrew on the East Coast, one around the Chicago area, I believe, and then
Goose Island was that?
Yeah.
Was it not at theirs that they bought?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it shows a demand, and it shows that they. It's really smart of them, right? Because they see a craft brewer is making a wonderful product, and instead of trying to copy or emulate that, they just they buy it.
They buy it,
replicate it. So it's interesting. It's gaining more popularity. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I know from experience, though, you can definitely taste the difference in the Goose Island that you get distributed in bottles, and then when you go to the brewery itself, where they're still making it fresh. But of course, that's with anything, right? I mean, with any high distribution, it's going to be a little bit different when you get it bottled up. But
yeah. And especially if you're getting it right there tapped at the brewery. I mean, that's
no
I'm sure
substitute.
No substitute. I'm sure even Budweiser is a lot better if you were to take the tour and get it.
I've never done it.
Out of the tap.
That's true. When I was last in St. Louis, I went to Schlafly instead of Budweiser. I don't know. but
Yeah.
you're right. It probably would have been better going to Budweiser and tasting.
Sure, why not?
What beers are knocking your socks off now? Any of them in particular on the craft beer scene there in Bend, Oregon?
There's a brewery here in town called Good Life. I really enjoy, and they call the Pacific Ale. It's called Sweet As, which is just one of my favorite, well balanced, slightly hoppy, just all around everyday drinking beers. That's really on the top of my list right now. There's also another new brewery here in town called Worthy, and they make a fantastic IPA. They're also within walking distance of my house, so that means I get to sample a lot of their
brilliant
one-offs. So they have there in the brewery or in the brew pub itself, they have a lot of seasonal ales that are really, really delicious.
That sounds good. And walking distance from your house is the best thing ever. I think it should be. If I ran for like political office, I would make sure everybody had a brewery in walking distance from their house. That would be my platform that I would run on.
Exactly. We'd be happier nation.
Be a lot better. Hey, I want to point out one thing, and you kind of touched on it, but the most surprising thing I found in your article, getting back to that, was that study on hydration, that beer's not actually a dehydrating element per se, that it can actually give you a little bit of hydration, though you may not want to use it as your hydrating substance. But did that shock you when you came across that?
Yeah, that was. I mean, the fact that, maybe a beer is more hydrating than water alone was pretty shocking. But my question is, if that study were taken to the extreme, say, if you drinking just plain water, say, and then drinking a bunch of beer, what are the effects? Because alcohol can or does it can dry you out. You need to balance it with water. So
exactly,
it was just very interesting.
It's kind of shocking. But I think overall, what it comes down to, and you really put it picture perfect here, is it's just making the good choices, making a good choice in a type of beer, the amount. And of course, when you drink it, like you suggest, maybe having a pint the night before a big workout, or maybe a few hours after for recovery, something like that. And those are just great ideas. It's just really, a good pint of beer can be nutritional in the end if you treat it correctly.
Yeah, exactly, and everything in moderation, right? I mean, it's a rule that works
exactly
in nutrition. Yeah.
Exactly. What's coming up new on your front end as far as writing goes and other projects?
So I'm actually doing a lot more automotive journalism now, surprisingly. So I've been writing for a site called ridelust.com.
Nice. Okay.
Which is a lot of fun because it's another passion of mine is cars and working on cars and restoring cars and driving them, obviously. So it's good.
I love them too. If I was rich, it would be my hobby too. Owning cars, not restoring them maybe, but owning cars would be my hobby.
Yeah. And I'm working with a startup here in Bend called Droppler, which is a really cool file sharing utility that you guys can check out. And it's just an easy way to send files back and forth, super easy way. Nice. So those are the two main things that I'm working on right now.
You're as you said, you're a creative superhero. A lot of articles for AskMen.com under your name too. You've done a tremendous work there.
Thank you. Yeah.
And people can find you at DustinDriver.com. Is that the best place, or are there some other places to look you up?
DustinDriver.com is the best place to find me. I'm also obviously on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can just search for Dustin Driver on Twitter, and I'll pop up there. So yeah, those are the best ways to reach me.
All right, Dustin. We're going to be talking about your article more on the show, and appreciate you being here with me and talking to me.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, so Dustin Driver, great stuff. We can kind of go over we discussed points about his article a little bit, Mike, but I'll go over the gist of it once again. And once again, we'll post that up at our Facebook site, Fitness and Beer. The link to it. So
how did you find that? You were sitting around and went, how can I be fit and drink beer?
Well, I was just thinking about the fact that now it's New Year's time. A lot of people making the resolutions to get fit. How can you keep beer in your fitness routine. And I did. I put in fitness beer, and his article was the first thing to pop up from askmen.com. And, it goes in different sections. The first one, of course, being good beer. Listen to me. That's the Ananda talking. Good beer versus okay beer. And I think he makes a point here. One thing you want to know, the darker beers are going to have a little bit more antioxidant consistency to them. And those are good for helping repair your muscles. I thought it was really interesting that he talked about a lot of the IPAs, the ones that are hop heavy, contain those polyphenols, which are a compound that helps lower cholesterol. That's pretty interesting, I thought. I didn't know that before. I always knew the dark beers were better because I remember reading, like I said, I've been a runner forever. Runner's World used to always say, if you're going to drink a beer, go for a dark beer. It's got a little bit more
darkness,
the darkness on the edge of town. He has a section on energy where he talks about that beer actually has one of the highest energy contents of any food or drink because of its caloric content. But that's also a little bit of a, be careful. Don't drink too many, which I never drink too many. Do you?
No, I never drink too many. Now, some people might argue with that, but...
We've never had too many. But I think he's trying to make the point that although it has a great caloric value, it may not be a good source for you to, it's not going to be the same thing as having, like, you don't want to carbo load with beer, obviously. But for recovery, as Dustin says, it's not a bad thing. Like, not maybe immediately after your workout, probably right after your workout, you're going to want some
Gatorade,
water and fruit.
Gatorade, water.
Fruit.
Yeah.
But maybe a few hours later, beer is just as effective with its contents of antioxidants and polyphenols, if you're into the hoppy beer, just as effective as red wine. So a few hours after your workout, why not? Why not tip down a good pint? It's good for you mentally. It's good for you physically.
There must be a lot of smart people around.
Drinking beer. And the other recommendation he has, I think, is great too, is, with the caloric content, maybe the night before a big workout, why not have a pint of beer? I know I had planned to work out this morning at the gym, and I had a beer last night close to bedtime, and I think it probably helped me out a little bit.
Do you think you would have done that anyway if you had not worked out?
I don't know. Well, there was a great hockey game on. That's why I had to tip back a beer while watching it. The Caps versus the Predators. Have you watched our Nashville Predators this year?
No, I haven't.
They are in first place.
Oh, cool.
They have the
good.
best record in hockey.
Well, as you know, I don't follow hockey.
If you were ever going to follow a Nashville hockey team,
this is the one.
This is the year to do it.
And we can
next year,
drink beer while you're watching it and stay fit.
They're playing Detroit tonight. We can. You know what we should do? We should watch that game and then go watch the Babadook down at the Midnight Movies.
Midnight, man, I don't think I've seen Midnight in a long time. Maybe I have, but it's been a long time.
I've been told that at the Midnight Movies at the Babadook, only large-breasted women usually go to that showing.
Okay, we can go.
Then let's go. It's the whole audience.
But how would we get in?
We'll have to go in drag.
That would be fun.
But we'll get in. But this is a great article. I'll post it to our Facebook page about fitness and beer. Thanks, and I want to thank Dustin Driver for being on the show and talking about it further.
Sorry I missed the interview there, Dustin.
Well, you heard it, the replay. But yeah, sorry Mark wasn't there for the question.
But, I didn't get to meet the big Dustin.
Well, maybe we'll have him on again. That was a great job done. Let's go in. Let's dig up a song or let's play one, and then let's do. You know what we love doing? The top what? 6.
Take a moment. Think it over. That's just one stitch in time, but a lifelong design on your heart. take a moment. Think it over. Well, sure, your life will go on, but that's a life foregone if it never starts. In a world that's full of heartache and abandoned dreams, it's so easy to let it all go. But your conscience will outlast that majority rules. In the end, you will do what you know to be right. So take a moment. Think it over. 'Cause those moments you'll find will entwine and define your heart. Your heart. Your heart. Your heart.
Folks, you know what place has everything you need? Amazon.com. They've got it all. They have books that we've featured on this show, including Tennessee Chicken from Chicken Will Dodson. They've got Randy Mosher's book on tasting beer. They've got great CDs by Danica Holmes, which we featured on this show. And they got fashion. And they got automotive supplies, electronics. Everything's at Amazon.com. And when you shop there, you can support our show. Just go to our page first at thehops.com, click on any Amazon link, and when you go to Amazon, we will also get a little jingle in our pocket as you get a wonderful product that you want. It won't cost you anything extra, no extra shipping, no nothing. You just support our show by clicking on any Amazon link at thehops.com. So please, when you do your shopping at Amazon, you know you're going to do it, jump to atthehops.com first, find any Amazon link, click, and make us happy as we make you happy every week. Cheers, everybody. Happy shopping. All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about another beer, and we're going to talk about the top six, because we love the top six, and we're going to have some other news segments coming up, too, because we're listening to what people want on the show. This beer is called Mocha Death. Mike's already poured it out into his glass. Let me pour myself a glass of it. And it's absolutely, it's an imperial stout, and it's what you'd expect of an imperial stout. Well, I mean, that color is black, right?
Don't they have an album out, Mocha Death?
I think so. I think they just made a comeback. Yeah. It sounds like an album, Mocha Death. It is absolutely a black, well, it's you can't see through it. No, I can't see through it. It's black. It's pretty,
almost, I would say, brown. It's
brown. You're right. It's not
brownish black.
Brownish black. It's not black. It's not like a Guinness or a traditional stout, but yeah, brownish black. It's got a little bit of lightness to it. A little light in the tank. Very small head at the top, but I'd expect that from a stout. How's the smell treating you, Mike?
Good, I like it. It's
Ooh,
kind of a
coffee shop.
Chocolate coffee.
Chocolate coffee is the smell. Exactly. What a beautiful smell that is. I mean, this is what I crave in the morning. What do you crave in the morning? More sleep?
Cheerios.
I crave more sleep. I mean, the head's got that perfect one pinky width foamy head that you get off of a stout beer traditionally, but it's got a wow, what a good smell. Did you have a taste already?
Can we taste it?
Yeah,
now?
let's have a taste, brother.
Let's go.
Let's go dive in, and we should have a toast. I don't have my sound effects up. Now I've got them. Here we go. Here we go.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
All right.
Dark, rich. I would say dark and rich, and like you said, coffee, chocolate sneaks in there.
Chocolate, coffee.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's a good taste. You know,
it's a good winter beer. You know.
Yeah.
I could sit in a bar and drink this when it's kind of cold outside or very cold outside, and you could just sit back with some friends and drink this Mocha Death. Is that what you're calling it?
Mocha
Death. Mocha Death.
This is one of those beers that tastes exactly like it smells. When we smelled it, it had the chocolate, it had the coffee in it, and when you taste it, those same notes ring true, and the mouthfeel was kind of good, thick.
It's kind of creamy too. It's
creamy.
You don't get that in the smell. The creamy richness. It's a very rich creamy taste to it.
That's perfectly he said. Yeah, from the Iron House
which would
Brewery.
not make it a good summer beer in my opinion. You wouldn't want to sit in the sun and drink this.
No, this is cold weather. This is I want something that sticks to your ribs in the winter.
There you go. Yeah. Some good like oatmeal.
Yeah.
I like to have oatmeal and drink this beer or pour this in my oatmeal. There you go.
It's an American Double Imperial Stout. And those, of course, are known to be, they get their inspiration from the Russian Imperial Stout and always full-bodied, rich flavors. This one in particular, they said they started with a beer called, and this is from Iron House Brewery out in Ellensburg, Washington. They started with a beer called Irish Death, which is a dark, smooth ale with a full malt flavor with caramel, chocolate, and dark fruit, and a touch of sweetness. And to this, they added espresso beans and pure cocoa. And they said, the result is a bit of confusion. Should this go in my coffee mug or my pint glass? And we both said, this is what we want in the morning. So we had the same confusion. Do you have it in the morning or have it
I'm very
later?
confused.
The beer is up front with enormous coffee aroma with the cocoa playing the sideline until the taste. It's lacking bitterness, they say. And there's not a real bitter flavor to it at all, but a balance of coffee and creamy malt body, they say. And you said that, creamy.
Creamy.
Soft cocoa flavors, dark beer, chocolate, and coffee. That's the key thing to this beer from Iron House Brewery. Dark beer, chocolate, coffee. I would say dark beer, chocolate, coffee, creamy. Those would be my...
And the name again for our listeners?
Mocha Death.
And where is this brewery?
Ellensburg, Washington. So back on the West Coast.
Yeah, they like their beer out there, don't they?
You know, it really is. As we were talking to Dustin Driver, he's out in Bend, Oregon, also on the West Coast. There's a lot of craft beer stuff going on the West Coast. And there's a lot going on in Nashville now. I mean, I just said,
that's true.
Tailgate Brewery just opened up right by my house. I'm so thrilled that I can walk to a brewery.
There you go. That can be part of your fitness program.
Good one. I didn't even think about that. Part of our program for the last few months has been something called the Top 6, and we're going to do it again tonight. We're also going to have some new segments in 2015, so we're not doing Top 6 every time. We got some suggestions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but for tonight, we're back to what we usually do, which is the top what.
Can we hear some suggestions, or is that going to be announced later?
We'll announce them later, right?
All right.
Or you want to hear?
Everything's a mystery tonight. This is the mystery show.
No, we got a lot of good stuff coming, but here it is, the Top 6.
You can't forget the top 10 for your favorite picks. The best things in life come in a pack of 6, so baby.
Church.
6. Hey, baby.
You are number 6.
Top 6.
You got a problem with?
You got a problem with sex?
Top
There it is.
6 coming up on At the Hump.
It's a Smith & Wesson, and you've had your 6.
All right. So I thought for today, since this is our first show of the new year, and I know a lot of people have given up their New Year's resolutions already and everything, but I thought...
Well, I mean, that's what New Year's resolutions are for, is to quit doing them after about 2 weeks.
I guess gosh, I need to do more. Are you one of those people that looks at your day and because I do, I look at my day and when I look at time I've wasted.
I don't look at your day.
Well, I hate when I've wasted time with the day. I really do.
I do too.
You do too?
Oh yes, I do.
That's why you hate hanging out with me.
Well, I mean, you know,
time.
I do a lot of things that a lot of people would probably say I'm wasting time. But to me, you know, yeah, I have to be busy doing something. You know, if it's playing guitar, writing a song, reading a book,
yeah,
or exercising, or, you know, it's just, yeah, I got to have every minute filled. I really do.
The last 2 weeks that we haven't done a show, and I said I really got lazy. And I watched a ton of hockey, which I love watching, but then I realized I'm not doing anything.
But that is something.
It is?
Yeah. I mean, if you're enjoying it.
Well, I went to a one game too, which was...
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say a lot of things that I do, people would say, you're wasting your time. But I think, you know, I've said it on the show, but one of my favorite quotes comes from James Taylor. And the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. I mean, that's it. That's,
secret
you know.
Secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Yeah.
I mean, and that is it. I mean, you don't have to be out somewhere
splitting the atoms.
Yeah, I mean, although that's very important. But,
I guess,
but
not to people in Hiroshima.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Whew, there's a show.
What were we doing? The top 6?
Yeah, we're doing the top 6.
Okay.
But you led us into this by saying that you like to fill your day. You like to be doing something. That's what led us.
I like to be doing stuff, and and I just got into this because, like, I remember before at the end of 2014, I was doing so much. I have a day job, and I was doing this, and I was doing some jingles for Ross, and I was doing a song for the charity, I forgot what it's called, singmeastory.org, and I was doing songs of my own. I just felt like I was really busy and working with Eric Stewart, and I'll be doing some work with Eric Stewart this year too. But the last couple of weeks we didn't have a podcast. I kind of just goofed off. I felt a little bit guilty about it, but
You'll get by.
Yeah, I'll get by. Let's go though and listen, and I will make a comeback. As our top 6 list is about today, the top 6 musical comebacks. And actually, this comes from an article from the Toronto Sun, and the article is actually from 2013. It's a little bit dated, but that's okay. They talked about a writer by the name of John Williams, who also, if I remember right, composed a lot of great theme songs.
Yeah,
right?
That is the John Williams. You know, there was a time you didn't watch a movie unless he did you didn't see a movie unless it was music by John Williams.
Yeah, there was. There was a time in like late 70s, early 80s where people had said, well, who did the music? Yeah. Was it John Williams? No. Well, then I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. I think he even goes back into the 60s. Don't ask me to name any of the films, but I mean, his name was always up there.
It was. It was like you couldn't have a film without John Williams' music for a while. But now, this was a writer, though, from the Toronto Sun did an article about the top musical comebacks, and they did it in 2013, did I say?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. But it's still...
And this is when they came back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so it's only about a year old, so these still kind of hold true. 2015 just started.
Well, I mean, you know.
So these kind of still hold true as far as comebacks go. So these are the top musical comebacks. Now, do you have any in mind right now, Mike, when you think about musical comebacks? Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Baby, come back. I don't know. I mean, are you going back in time or... I mean, I think of the Bee Gees. That's probably the most famous comeback of all time.
That's a good one.
But I mean, it happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, they had this 60s thing, which was heavily Beatles influenced, and then they kind of faded away, and then they came back with this disco thing.
Barry Gibb never really left music, though.
No, Barry Gibb's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
And he's the only surviving brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the one. He was the oldest, and he's the only one left.
He's still the oldest.
Yeah, and he's the only one left. And,
Did Andy Gibb kill himself?
Pardon me?
Did one of them kill themselves, Andy Gibb?
I'm not sure. I think that was a drug overdose.
Oh. And he was married to somebody...
Yeah, the Victoria principal.
Yeah, with big...
Yeah, she was Pamela.
With a lot of talent.
Pamela on Dallas.
Yeah, Victor.
Pam.
Yeah.
Pam.
Pam.
Yeah.
Know where I am. All right, let's go to the... Here we go. The number 6 greatest musical comeback of all time. We'll go to the top 6 musical comebacks. Here's number 6. You know that band?
No, who is that?
That's Green Day.
Oh, okay.
So apparently...
I'm going to make a big mistake here.
Say it.
I'm not a Green Day fan. I think he sounds like Billy Joel. And I'm talking about the Billy Joel of the... after he did his, he did his Piano Man, and he did...
But
then he went more rock. He did songs like Big Shot, and...
he did Christy Brinkley.
Yeah, a few times, I would imagine. But anyway, I never could get over this guy in Green Day sounding like Billy Joel.
I never thought about that, but apparently, according to this writer, American Idiot was a big comeback for them.
That was about George W.
Was it really?
Yeah. He was the American Idiot.
I didn't know that, but they went from being a struggling post-punkers to one of the biggest sellers that year that the album came out. They were overnight sensations after the release of 1994's major label debut, Dookie. But then, I guess they had I didn't know I really didn't think of them as needing a comeback. But I guess
either.
I mean, they said in 2003 they recorded... from scratch, came up with a concept album about American Idiot. I mean, to me, 1994, 2003, that's not a big lapse of time. That's not really a comeback. I kind of disagree with this. Right? I mean...
Well, I agree with you, but that's
me,
it. That was the number 6 comeback, but I don't...
a major comeback.
I still look at Green Day of having this one career,
Yeah, I don't think of them...
I didn't know they went away and came back. I just thought Green Day was Green Day.
Exactly.
And they sounded like Billy Joel.
They never fell off the planet for me. They were always here. Green Day was... Let's go to number 5, because this person did kind of fall off the planet for a little bit. Thank God he came back.
Candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night.
Who is that?
You know that voice. Come on. Keep listening. Go to sleep. Everything's alright. I close my eyes. Come on, Mike.
Blue Bayou guy?
Yeah, Roy Orbison.
Okay, yeah.
He definitely had a comeback, especially after this song was used in David Lynch's Blue Velvet. It was such a haunting scene. You remember this, Blue Velvet, with that song coming on?
Yeah, he definitely had a comeback.
Yeah, and that's a real comeback right there. I mean, that's a real songwriter that we needed to all of a sudden go back and revisit and say, this guy's music needs to be listened to, right?
Yeah, and then he came back with, who was
Traveling Wilburys?
Yeah, Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah, it died in November of, God, what year was it?
79, maybe?
89, maybe.
Oh,
88.
88.
After the Traveling Wilburys. But...
You mean it wasn't before the Traveling Wilburys?
Yeah, no, they didn't take him. It wasn't like Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend at Roy.
Okay.
Yeah, he died after the tour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because
that would have been a comeback.
Some guys will die during the tour, but he was polite enough to wait. Yeah. I don't know, but the Traveling,
while we're talking about the Traveling Wilburys, here's another little thing for you.
Where'd our beer go?
Del Shannon.
Del Shannon.
He was set to be a Traveling Wilbury, and he did die before that could happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was he? it was also Tom Petty.
Run, 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 get away. You know, he had that song. Dale Shannon, you know, he was a big...
Run, 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 run away.
You run away,
I
yeah.
always liked Bonnie Raitt's version of that song. She did a great cut of Runaway. Do you want more of this Mocha Death?
Yeah,
here you go. I mean, I love Bonnie Raitt. Bonnie Raitt should be on our show. But
I've got a song for her.
What?
Well, Willpower. I mean,
I would love to hear.
You've only
her
heard me do it acoustically, but that would be a good R&B song.
That would
Take
be
my
a
word for it.
perfect Bonnie Raitt song.
It would be.
Bonnie, if you're listening right now, email us, chaz-e@atthehops.com or Mike
we have a song
at
for you,
atthehops.com.
Bonnie. We have a song for
And
you.
I love Bonnie Raitt. She's great. She's great. Let's go to number 4. The top.
Who had a comeback of her own, by the way, around in the 80s, the album Nick of Time.
You know something? That is a great point. She is not on this list at all because I don't think people realize that Nick of Time was a comeback, and it was.
It was.
She
and
had
it was
been
a really
recording
good
for
record.
years.
Yeah.
Well,
I think she had recorded. I think she had Kramer. I think she had a couple of albums that people were kind of ignoring. I think her career slumped a little bit.
Yeah.
But then came back with Nick of Time.
And that was and with John Hyatt's thing called Love.
That was on that album.
Yeah. That really you know, she was more of a comeback than we think.
And she had a song actually called Come Back.
Oh,
Baby,
did she?
come back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think that was during that slump I was talking about.
Wow. Bonnie Raitt is tremendous.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 4. Who's not Bonnie Raitt? You know that band?
Well, they're doing the Aerosmith song, aren't they?
Yeah, and Aerosmith is the group. Because in 1986, they kind of came back when Run DMC.
Yeah, they were on that record with them.
Run DMC and kind of brought back Aerosmith, and then of course after that, you had. Like,
and then Aerosmith. There's another comeback band.
Yeah, that's it.
With Pump. Remember the album Pump? And they had that that video with Steven Tyler in the elevator with that girl.
Loving an Elevator.
Loving an Elevator.
They also had a lot of videos with I can't remember the actress's name. Really pretty girl. She was in that a movie about. It's not Legally Blonde, but it's one of those type movies. Clueless. Alicia Silverstone was in a lot of their videos.
And Steven Tyler was in there, or she was in their video.
She was in their videos a lot, I think. Alicia Silverstone.
She wasn't the elevator girl, was she?
I don't know. Should I look it up real quick? Do you want to talk a second while I look it up?
Elevator. I could sing that song. No, I don't think that was her. Let me ask you, is she a brunette? Because the girl in the elevator was a brunette. Okay, this is a different girl.
But she was in a bunch of their videos. Love. How do I search for this? I'm gonna put Love.
Look for love.
Elevator.
Why do you look for love?
And I'll look for Video Girl. And let's see what we get. Oh, if I could type, this would be a lot easier. So in the Love in an Elevator.
That's not her. But the girl in Love in an Elevator was pretty hot.
We'll look at what Wikipedia has to say about it. It's an American hard rock band, Aerosmith, by Steven Tyler, guitarist. From Pump. They don't tell us who the girl in the video is, but
she was just a hardworking mother earning a living.
We're gonna look at the video real quick, see if we can find.
I bet you are.
So she was in the elevator.
Yeah.
And she needed help pushing the buttons. It's not really coming up. What the hell is this? God damn, the internet sucks now. The internet used to be so easy. Now it's got Instagram and Monstergram and...
What's the next song?
Mammogram. You want to go to the next?
Yeah.
Forget this.
Or Grammygram.
Yeah. Parsonsgram. All right. So Aerosmith gets to be one of our... Yeah, let's go to the next one. Number 3 is right here.
Delia's gone. One more
Mr.
round.
Cash. Yeah.
No mistake in Johnny
And that was the album. That was perfect. That was the album.
Memphis,
You know, Johnny Cash, for all his...
I'll turn this down.
You know, now Johnny Cash, of course, is cool and everything, but Johnny Cash had a real rough period around in the 80s. He was actually dropped. He was dropped by Columbia Records.
Really?
Yeah, and then he went to Mercury Records, and they fumbled a few albums for him, and they dropped him. And this guy his career was in the floor. And Rick Rubin, you know, the guy that produced the song that you just played.
You know, yes, Rick. It's in my notes here, my liner notes from Rick Rubin. Yeah,
right.
mega producer Rick Rubin.
And he sat Johnny down, and that album is just Johnny and an acoustic guitar. And I think just prior to recording that album, Rick suggested that Johnny go out on the road and do some solo gigs, just him and his guitar. I mean, Nashville had told Johnny to screw off. I mean, that was it. It was the end of his career, and Rick Rubin brought him back, and he had all those great albums after this particular album, which included the great song "Hurt."
Yeah,
Rick Rubin,
9 Inch Nails song.
You know, all those. I guess Johnny did probably 5, maybe 6 albums with Rick Rubin, and the "Hurt" song was one of those, and he covered a lot of songs. He did "Bridge Over Troubled Water." He covered some Tom Petty songs, and so anyway, yeah, Johnny Cash. That was a great comeback.
Johnny Cash, I saw him around this time play live, and it was a great show. I'm looking at the list of the top 6, and right now I would move this to number 1.
Yeah, I would too.
Right away, and I know we'll hear the next 2, because Johnny Cash is. I think we all love him because he might be the most real artist.
Yeah, and Johnny Cash had a real open mind to other artists.
God,
you know,
look at his show.
Oh yeah, exactly.
He had Neil Young on there.
He had Neil Young, and of course he embraced Dylan really early in Dylan's career, and he just and he wrote songs long before Dylan and the Beatles were on the scene. You know, he was writing songs in the 50s.
He had Linda Ronstadt on before she was anybody.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was such a promoter of other artists, and I don't think he ever thought, I think the one thing I didn't really like Walk the Line much.
Oh, I love Walk the Line.
Did you like it? I mean,
I love that period in his career.
No, I mean, I didn't like the movie.
Oh, the movie. It was okay.
I didn't like it because I did not like hearing Joaquin Phoenix sing Johnny Cash songs. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it was okay. But it was about just a tiny little corner of Johnny's career.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie, and they wanted it on a high note, I guess. But Johnny's life and career was very complicated. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, and he. As I said earlier, now we celebrate Johnny Cash, but Johnny Cash came up hard and had a lot of rejection in his career. I mean, his record company, Columbia, before they finally dropped him, didn't want to do a lot of things that he wanted to do. Well, probably one of his most famous albums was the San Quentin album.
Right.
And they didn't want him to They didn't want to do that. They just thought, you're insane. You want to go to a prison and record an album? And he said, yeah, I do. And I'm going to do it. And, it's one of the high points of his career.
But I do want to say that even though I didn't really like the movie Walk the Line, because I really did detest the fact that Joaquin Phoenix was singing the songs. One of my favorite parts of the movie, though, was when I think the June Carter character says, "Where do you get that sound?" And he goes, "That's the only way we know how to play." And I just loved that line. It was not a product of anything else, but that's all. I only know how to, that's the way I just play. I can't play any other way. I love that.
Well, in defense of Joaquin, nobody's
going to cover.
Nobody.
But I think they thought they were going to get away with some Oscars or something by doing that. And I think, the general public doesn't realize that when you make a movie, a lot of the audio is done later.
Well, the way I looked at it, I thought that they had a lot of balls for doing it the way they did. I mean, they could have pantomimed and used Johnny's voice.
They should have. His voice is...
No, I wouldn't have liked that.
But his voice is why we love him.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been good for a movie, for an actor. And while they've done it a lot, I don't think it would have... It didn't bother me that he was doing the voice. It bothered me a little that it didn't accurately portray Johnny's real life. That's what bothered me.
That's very
about
true. It did. But we know that I never thought June Carter looked that. She never looked that good in real life.
I tell you what, though, I've seen some pictures of her.
Yeah,
and she was pretty damn good looking.
Really?
I mean, yeah, she was. I mean, not in the accepted version of beauty. She was an attractive woman. She was.
That June. But should we go to number 2?
Yeah,
we could talk about Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
all
we
day.
could. We could do top 6 Johnny Cash songs sometime.
I think it'd have to be albums because he's just that. Johnny Cash is just the real deal. It's just like he sits with a guitar and he sings songs that tell stories.
And he invented a sound. I mean, the guys that played with him, the Tennessee Two, these were two guys.
Yeah, Luther and
they could barely play. And
that's
Luther.
That's what I'm saying. It was like he said in that movie. That's the only way we know how to play.
Right,
exactly.
And that was the truth. That's all they knew.
And I think that's what makes me love him even more. It wasn't. I could wax on about Johnny Cash all day, but let's go to the next number 2. Johnny should be number 1, but let's go to number 2.
Yeah, I remember that comeback, and that's good to be on the list.
Tina Turner, yeah, she's great.
There's another person that had a hard time coming along.
Yeah, you were just talking with me about Tina Turner and Clearance. Clearance.
Yeah.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah, I think she had a hard life too. But she's a great singer, great artist. And I remember when that album came out, and I remember that comeback.
Yeah, and there it is again. I did it twice.
She did come back.
She came back tonight. She repeated herself. I repeat myself when under stress. Yeah, great comeback, Tina Turner, and well deserved. She's great, but to me, it still doesn't top Johnny Cash.
No, I mean Johnny has. I think maybe you and I might appreciate Johnny more as he was a songwriter, and
Tina was more of a singer.
Yeah, she was definitely a singer, a great performer.
Yeah,
and but I think Johnny sort of entails the old cliche of the songwriting musician coming up in the hard world and having a hard time. But I don't know. I could see how a lot of people would want to rank Tina ahead of Johnny on the comeback thing.
Here's my thing about Johnny Cash. If I can go on a little more about him,
sure.
You could take somebody with all the chops in the world, like a Tommy Emmanuel on guitar, and an amazing singing voice like Kelly Clarkson, and put them into one person. So you got this amazing guitar chops and a great voice. And still Johnny Cash would somehow, with his okay guitar chops and okay voice, he would still sing for you a more meaningful song
than
that person.
He was an original. And,
he was so unique.
And all the icons are that way. I mean, it
was Bob Dylan.
Yeah, they were different. You could take these artists and you could listen to 3 seconds of the recording and you'd know immediately who they were.
John Hyatt,
like you said, Dylan, Johnny, all those icons, they were.
But
and in every case, excuse me for interrupting.
Go ahead.
In every case, it was the same thing. That's the only way we know how to do it.
That's why it was so brilliant about that line.
We're
in the
not
movie.
trained. Nobody told us how to do it. We didn't know what to do. We just went out and did our thing.
And that's why it was my favorite part of that film, because we don't know how to play it. Because there's a point where the Reese Witherspoon, June Carter character says to Johnny, where do you get that sound? And she says something like, steady like a train's sharp as a razor or something like that. And he goes, that's the only way we know how to play. But I thought it was so clever and brilliant. It's like, that's just us. Right. It's honest. We're waxing on about Johnny. Let's go to number 1. The number 1 comeback.
We're caught in a trap.
Yeah, that was a great comeback.
Because I love you.
Yeah, that was a good song too.
Suspicious Minds.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley, 1968.
That was a comeback that was pretty brief, actually. I mean, you had the great 50s Elvis, and then through most of the 60s, he was, making the movies. And then at the end of the 60s, he did that song.
And that was it?
Well, I mean, he went on and did a couple of things like I think In the Ghetto might have been even before Suspicious Mind. But Burning Love was probably the last one.
Burning Love.
I'm just a hunk of burning love.
I think that song, was that about syphilis?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the guy that wrote the song. But Elvis was, I would definitely, and everyone would have to agree, you got to put him in that crowd of the icons who didn't, he just went and did his thing, and he was not educated on what he should sound like. He just got up there and sang, and people liked it. But Elvis, a big part of Elvis's thing was visual as well as audio. I mean, people loved to watch him perform, and that was a big part of the Elvis thing. But I mean, a lot of our heroes, I mean, they all loved Elvis. That's what, you can talk to anybody that was a star in the 60s, and Elvis is going to be the guy they will mention first.
I'm not a big Elvis guy.
I know you're not. And
Are you? Do you consider yourself a big Elvis guy?
I admire greatly what he did from 55 through about 58. The music that he
3 years.
Music that he recorded at Sun, and I liked Heartbreak Hotel, which was the first song he did at RCA. Yeah. Beyond that, no, I'm not a huge Elvis fan.
He's almost to me like he's so silly to me. When I was watching the Suspicious Minds, I actually went out and watched the video for it. It was almost silly to me.
Well, that's not a period that you want to judge Elvis.
And that was his comeback period.
Well, that just happened to be a good song that he got a hold of, and it was a quote unquote comeback. To appreciate Elvis Presley, you have to go back to the Sun Records period,
and that's it.
That is definitely it. I mean, that's what the guys that came up in the 60s listened to. That was their man. I mean, Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Oh, that's true. And
they just loved Elvis. I mean, Elvis was the man for them.
I'm sure if one of my guitar heroes, Brian Setzer, was here right now, he would smack me in the face. For saying that I don't appreciate.
But
Elvis,
I mean, I can appreciate you being honest. But I mean, if you're gonna talk about Elvis in 1969, that's not Elvis. That's not the Elvis that all the Elvis purists love. I think it's commonly known as the Army, Elvis.
Before
he was drafted. Before he was drafted.
And his draft,
into the
of course,
Army.
was probably for more of a promotional tour.
No, not really.
Did he actually have to serve hard time?
Absolutely. I mean, he went to Germany and served right along with everybody else. Got the haircut and.
I thought he did songs and.
No, those were the movies he made after he got out of the Army.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Elvis did the same thing that every poor recruit that went through the Army, but I think it was kind of a new thing for someone of his stature to go into the Army. And
well, I thought back then everybody did, because even the athletes would go away to the Army, and as well as like sports heroes. I'm thinking back to Joe Louis, which is before Elvis, but Joe Louis got to do sort of a tour of promoting the Army. I mean, some of those guys were brought in because they wanted the Army to keep for morale purposes.
Right.
Elvis is going to the Army, so everybody should, you know.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what they tried to do to Ali, who said no.
Yeah.
They even told Ali, "You will not be fighting. You will be promoting the Army."
Yeah, I never got the impression that Elvis went into the Army with an idea to promote the Army. I think more or less it was just like, hey, you're a certain age and you got to go, and I think he went.
He went.
Yeah.
And they told him there'd be peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah. And there are girls over there. You know, that's where he met his wife.
You know, Priscilla?
Priscilla, yeah.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Right?
That's where he met her.
Is she still?
Well, I haven't seen her lately. I'm sure.
Yeah, she stopped coming by.
I'm sure, like the rest of us, she's got a few wrinkles.
That's all right.
And his daughter, by the way, has her own musical career.
I didn't realize
that.
Yeah. Did she marry Michael Jackson?
Yeah. I think they were married for a day or two.
Yeah. A day or two. That's
Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie Presley. You can be a guest on our show any day. What did you think of that list of the top 6? I'm still going to go with my thought. We said earlier that to me, the most monumental, most important one of that list was Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I can appreciate all of those. The Green Day was kind of funny.
That was out of it.
But I can understand. And there was some that we mentioned that were not on there. I think the Bee Gees is probably the biggest comeback in musical history, actually. I mean, to have such a huge career and then come back and have a second huge career.
They had a list of 10 altogether. Also on their list was Santana, Fleetwood Mac, Meatloaf, and Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
But I think the Bee Gees were more...
Yeah, Bee Gees should have been mentioned.
Absolutely.
I think they should have.
Well, there it is. Hey, you know what we got to do? The outro song, because we love it. That's the top 6.
You can't forget the top 10 for your favorite picks. The best things in life come in a pack of 6. So baby, 6. Hey baby,
You are number 6.
top 6. Top 6.
You got a problem with sex?
Top 6. Wrapping up on At the Hops.
All right, so we're going to go judge the 2 beers we've had today, and then I'm going to convince Mike to go see the Babadook at midnight. He's already saying no.
Good luck, folks.
All right, so we'll be back. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor, because we do need you guys to click on atthehops.com. Go to Amazon. Afterwards, we get an Amazon link up there. Listen, we have a lot of great artists on these shows, and they have albums at Amazon. So go buy them. But before you go buy them at Amazon, click on our link from atthehops.com. We get a little bit of change in our pocket.
Hey, all right.
And you get great music. So we're going to get that article. We're going to listen. We got a couple sponsors. Go listen to both of these commercials and come back, and we'll judge our 2 beers, Mocha Death, and what was the other one?
Sharks.
Not what was the other beer?
Annabelle or Ananda?
Ananda. All right.
I used to know a girl named Ananda.
Really?
Ananda was Amanda.
She was a man?
She was from Frankanda.
I love it. Here we go. Hey folks, are you a musician or a band looking to get the best quality recording of your music at the lowest rates in town? Then you should go to the recording studio of choice for so many great artists, including myself, Chaz E., and Mike Mitchell from At the Hops. That's Audion Recording Studios. As a special exclusive too, Audion Recording Studio will offer all At the Hops listeners 10% off of their first session. That'll make your next album or demo absolutely affordable. For more information, please call 615-667-1080 or go to www.audionrecording.com, AUDION recording.com.
Hey there, Mr. Chazzy. This is your old friend Jack from over on the West Coast. Listen, I just wanted to call you and thank you. I went to your site at thehops.com, and from there I discovered a link to audible.com. That's right, audible.com, where they have over 100,000 audio downloads to choose from. I can listen to all my favorite books, and you know that's good for me because I read about 1 million scripts a day, and after reading for so long, well, I'm just crazy. I don't have time to read for pleasure anymore, but with audible.com I can listen to my favorite titles. And for clicking through your link, Chaz, they gave me a 30-day free trial membership and 1 free audio download. Or maybe it's because I'm a celebrity. Who knows? Anyway, got myself a good book on beer. I could be a guest on your show soon. What do you say? I already got some musical talent. Here, let me get you a little sample. All work and no play. Yeah, makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play.
Click on the link at www.atthehops.com for audible.com, where you'll find over 100,000 audiobooks and more. Sign up for the free 30-day trial membership, and you'll get a free audiobook for your listening pleasure as well.
Mother.
That was so subdued.
You left me. Well, I've been trying to tone that down.
I know.
We're changing in the new year.
I'm trying to not cuss on the show so much.
Really?
Well, after
I don't think I have cussed much.
You don't. It's always me. But Matt Prater said to me, he's a great singer-songwriter. We're going to have him here live. But he was on the show remotely, and he said, Chaz, I would share this show to more friends of mine if you guys didn't have the explicit rating. But we do. But it's a beer show too,
yeah,
so it's 21
but it's always
going
to have that. Did you explain to him why we have the rating?
Yes. And I also explained to him that we once made a record of 3 shows in a row where we never cussed. And we didn't cuss on today's show either.
Yeah. But yeah, I can live without cussing, but
it
bothers
is a beer
me.
Show.
It bothers me that he doesn't understand why we have to have that rating, and he should have
keep drinking the growler.
Just to assure him that we're not going to say anything that offends him or his friends because we need the listeners.
But it is a beer show, so you should be 21 and over to listen to it.
Yeah.
Beer is part of the show.
Did you say that to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he buy it? Did he go along with it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he going to recommend us?
I hope so.
Me too.
We like him a lot.
Yeah,
His
we like him.
music's good.
Yeah.
I mean, what it's not to like about Matt? I mean, what's not to like about beer? You want to rate these beers we had?
Okay.
I've lost my beer sheets. I usually have them right in front of my face, but I've lost one of them. Talk a minute, Mike, while I find them.
Well, where do you think they might be?
I've got the one for Mocha Death right in front of me, but what was our other beer called?
Ananda.
Yeah, I don't need a sheet for that. I can tell you what it is. All right, so our first beer tonight was Ananda.
I gotta say that I think that could have come up with a better name. Ananda?
I can't find where it came from.
I mean, you go to the bar. Hey, I'll have an Ananda.
Hold on, where the hell did it come from, Mike? Where's my sheet on it? Ah, here we go. It came from Wiseacre Brewing in Memphis, Tennessee. It's an American IPA, and I'm still drinking it because I'm in love with Ananda. Ananda, you can come by my house anytime. But Mike, on a musician's scale, is it it's a hit, close enough for rock and roll, or don't quit your day job?
Well, I'd already said it was one of the best beers we've had in a while, so I'm going to have to say it's a hit.
Yes! Put some applause on that, too.
Yeah.
I got to agree with you, man. This beer right here.
It's a real beer, too. I mean, it's just the kind of beer you're going to sit around and drink.
I'm still drinking it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like an IV connected to me with this. This is really good
That's
beer.
why we get the explicit rating, probably.
Now, this got an 89 from Beer Advocate. They said it was very good, but... I almost said the F word. But forget you. Very good. How about excellent? This is a really good... This is what you want. When you hear IPA, you want a grapefruit type citrusy experience, right, Mike?
Yes.
And that's what this delivered. So, I mean, why not say excellent? Why not take that 89 and make it a 90?
Have they ever had anything above 90?
Yeah, we've had stuff, but...
Usually we don't agree with Beer Advocate.
We sometimes... Yeah, you're right. Usually we don't.
I don't know if they don't know what they're talking about or we don't.
Well, they're good. I mean, you want to go to the next beer?
Yeah.
All right. Let's put on the music. The next beer we had was from Iron House Brewery out in Ellensburg, Washington. That's the United States of America. This American Double Imperial Stout was called Mocha Death. It promised flavors of a coffee, chocolate, dark fruit. Mike, did you think it's a hit, close enough for rock and roll, or don't quit your day job?
Well, definitely a winter beer, a beer you'd want to drink while it's cold outside, have the fire going, have some company over. I'm going to say, since it's January, it's a hit.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good beer.
Yeah,
in a minute here, I'm going to put it on. It's a hit. That's a good beer. Now, this one, too, Beer Advocate only gave it an 84, a good. But
we never agree with them.
No, I thought it was very good. I don't know why it couldn't be a 90.
I don't remember them ever rating anything in the 90s. I mean, when they say something is 89, they say it's very good. I mean, what does it take for them to... What is the highest rating they would give, 100?
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess it's like Rotten Tomatoes. But we've had some that have gone to higher ratings. I can't remember right offhand. But that beer had everything I could want if I...
Everything?
Well,
is there a new car sit down in that glass?
No, but if I was looking for a coffee, chocolate type beer, it had all that in there.
Yeah, ham and eggs.
Ham and eggs. I don't like eggs, but can I say something?
And you don't eat ham either, do you?
Oh, that's true. I don't eat ham. But because I miss this sound sample, I'm going to say that... Oh, here's what I'm going to say. Beer Advocate's good, but it's not great. It's only close enough for... I love that sound clip. I just want to hear it every show.
Sorry we didn't have anything that was only good enough for rock and roll this week.
But I love that sound clip of Mick Jagger, so I want to hear it on the show anyways. But I thought both of our beers tonight were hit beers. I really did.
Yeah, I enjoyed drinking these beers.
And we had the dark beer with the antioxidants. And we had the hoppy beer with the what do they call them?
Ethylene?
Well, it's good for, and we had healthy beers tonight.
Yeah, I feel so fit.
I want to thank Dustin Driver for talking to us about
and
beer
they call
fitness.
it Baby Driver.
What song is that?
Oh, it's a Simon and Garfunkel.
Really? I don't know.
It's a great song.
They call it, what is it?
Baby Driver.
What's a Baby Driver?
I don't know. You know Paul Simon.
We'll
have to pull that up. It's a great song.
Yeah, but I like Paul Simon.
I do too. But I mean, his lyrics don't always make sense when you first listen. And what is a baby driver? Well,
yeah.
I don't know.
Who the hell is Cecilia? She's breaking his heart.
She's breaking my heart. I like it when he's. I come back to washing my face. When I come back to bed, someone's taking my place.
She's like a hooker, right?
I don't know.
That's hysterical. Yeah, I come back, I wash my face, and I come back,
and someone's taking my place. That's what I'm saying. Paul Simon. Come on, you're not going to try to make sense of all that. It's just great
stuff. Is he
stuff.
mad because someone's in his place, or because He finally figured out she's a prostitute.
I don't know. I'm not even sure he was mad. He didn't say he was mad. He just said he was heartbroken.
You're shaking my confidence.
Well, they called it Baby Driver.
You're shaking my confidence. That's so, I mean...
engineer.
Have you ever broken up with a girl because you're worried about your confidence?
No, I've never broken up with a girl. They always break up with me.
Only Paul Simon has said, "We got to break up." Why? You're shaking my confidence, baby. Oh, Cecilia.
I get up to
that
wash
could be a segment.
My face. When I come back to bed, someone's taking my place.
Oh, Cecilia.
You're breaking my heart.
Okay. We should do a segment where we look at song lyrics verbatim.
Yeah, we should.
That's a good idea. Until, though, we do that, we got great guests coming up, folks. So don't stop tuning into At the Hops. Great beers coming up. You want to check them out. We're going to learn about beers and how to drink them. Learn about music.
There you go.
Thank you, Dustin Driver, for being part of the show this week. Thank you, Mike, for coming back and being part of the show in 2015.
Thanks for having me.
We love you, brother. And until then, we're signing off at the Hops. Cheers.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily.
Thanks for listening to At the Hops. Don't forget to leave us feedback and visit us regularly at www.atthehops.com. All songs performed on this program are the property of the artist. Use of these songs without the artist's consent is prohibited. See you next round.
Because I like the taste of imported beer, and I like the kind they brew right here. Because I'm very open-minded, that's the way I've been reared, and I want to have a great, great day.
No, I've never broken up with a girl. They always break up with me.